Hello, greetings. This is Gilles Mercier. I wanted to come and say hello, wish you a good day. I wanted to share a story with you about the Sasquatch. We call the Yetis. In France, we have this comic book called Tintin, who's encountering the Yeti in Tibet. So in the collective consciousness of children, we are aware of those Bigfoots, and so. But those are not imaginary creatures. For as we move into this age of awakening, a lot of people, 99% of the people, will not accept anything that is out of their comfort zone in relation to what is known in society. But as we awaken to that, to our own light, our own inner self, there is this spiritual awakening. We are forced to reconsider all kinds of belief, and as we do that, a lot of will come to realize this universe we belong to is far more amazing and incredible than all the fiction we can ever dream of, both in the dark side as in the light side. And so there is those creatures that we call the Sasquatch that were created on Atlantis. They were scientific experiments that they were creating beings that were halfway animals, halfway men to work on the field. But it wasn't very ethical, but it was part of this program of evolution. And those beings are not dying. They do not die. They live in a fourth dimension, but they do not reproduce. And so they are kind of stuck in that dimension, in the fourth dimension. And sometimes they appear and they can disappear. They are not carnivorous, and they are not harmful. So if you cross them in a mountain somewhere, do not harm them. Just know that if your heart is pure, they will come to you, and then because they're curious. And so I've never been to Tibet, but Tibet used to be a colony of Atlantis. But I did meet a group of Sasquatch when I was in Creston, Colorado. Creston, Colorado is a small village. My master guide told me a long time ago about this town, and once I was with a girlfriend, we were driving down, and we stopped there on the West Santa Fe, and we stopped at the little village. It's just the old Creston is those little houses that all painted in different colors. You feel like in fairyland. But then once, couple of years later, I was living in Colorado, and a friend of my mother was living in Creston. He was building straw bale homes there, and he had this big house. And so I thought to investigate a little bit more this area. So I thought to go visit him for a week. So I came to visit him, but he became very sick, and I had to take him to the hospital. And then so I kept his house. And so, I knew there was an Arcturian base in the mountains, which was most attractive to me. There is those big pyramid mountains in Creston, and there is the very advanced, Arcturians are very advanced civilization, advanced beings. And so so I really was going to go for that. That's really where I was curious about. And then in the afternoon, I thought I went up the pass. There is a Buddhist temple on top of the pass. And on the way to the Buddhist temple, there's people that have put stone on top of stone on top of stone on top of stone, and there are thousands of those. It's very magical place. So I reached the Buddhist temple. And then on the way down, so I walked down. On the way down, there was this opening, this big rocks opening and I saw the pyramid mountains at the end. And Spirit says, "Go for it." But for some reason, I wasn't feeling strong enough. Was afraid to go and wander in the mountains, and you don't want to get lost. And for some reason, I didn't dare to go for it. I should not regret it, but I should have gone. And so I went back home. And at which point there wasn't that much to do, so I went into meditation, and I was like, all kind of Sasquatch came to me. It was like quite magical, were really, really nice, because they saw that my heart was pure, and I was sensitive to the higher vibration of that place. And they were like red hair Sasquatches, for there was dark hair and light hair Sasquatches. Those were more lighter hair Sasquatch, but they were very friendly, and it was a very beautiful encounter. And later on that evening, I was meditating and investigating the potential of my spiritual connection, and I thought to ask a question to the Ancient of Days. The Ancient of Days are the administrators of the super universe. They are very high beings that were created to administer in the super universe. Hundreds of thousands of 100,000 universe, so they're very they have the power of adjudication on all the celestial crimes and so on. And so I asked my question of I forgot what the question was, but I turned my thought, and for some reason they responded immediately, and they were like, and they sent me a vision of the Christ on the cross, and say, well, do not ask us, you ask him, because the Christ is the master creator's son, is the highest authority in our local universe. So go to him. Don't come to us. So I thought that was quite interesting. So I shared this story about Creston, Colorado. It's a very powerful place, and in essence, once we achieve this alignment into light and life, we fuse with our I am presence, and we move into this sphere of light and life. We are elevated, no longer in the universe circuit, but in the super universe circuit. The same thing when a planet is elevated in the super universe in light and light, that fuse within light and life. It is elevated, and its circuit can no longer be disturbed by accident. It's kind of permanent circuits around the Milky Way galaxy, like Chiron, for instance, is a very mysterious orbit, but I assume that I do feel that this planet is in the level of light and life, and there are systems like Alpha Centauri that's been consumed by light and life eons ago, and Arcturus as well. For if you try to go to Alpha Centauri, I love that place. I always go there, but because I have those connections. But you have to go in the 6th and 7th dimension. Anything below that, you will not enter. There is no way they're gonna let you in. Yet on Arcturus, the guardian of the 5th dimension, you are welcome to. It's much easier to achieve the connection with the Arcturians. Although the Centaurians are there and responding to, also they're the scientific, they're both very advanced scientific civilization, spiritual civilization. And so on Arcturus there is 15 planets mainly, Arcturus Prime, and there are many moons, and all the planets are inhabited by beings even in the 3rd dimension, but they are not. There is no dark shadow matrix over there. The 3rd dimensional beings are evolving in a very light path, and they're also cyclically connected, and 4th and 5th dimension. They are the guardian of the 5th dimension, but essentially Arcturus is holding the 9th, 10th, 11th dimension mainly, and Alpha Centauri is a very one of the most advanced civilization of our solar system. For they are holding the 172nd dimension through the Phoenix, which is the largest starship of our own local universe. It is the silent observer. I'm sure I've discussed that in my book. I will soon publish it. Well, I hope this message was interesting for you. I just wanted to share this experience in Creston. For we all have those connections. It is a matter of tuning into those frequencies. And so then to understand that the universe is far richer than whatever we can imagine. The truth that awaits us in the 5th dimension will blow our mind, will overwhelm us in some sense. So that's why we have to be prepared one step at a time, because the truth of what is awaiting us when we achieve that freedom is far greater than any of our hopes and desires. And we'll be able to reconnect to all kinds of galactic civilization as we continue this ascension. For it can be, first contact can be done individually, or eventually we'll become as a collective, a mass contact. That's what we're trying to prepare to. But humans have to let go of fear. They have to calm down. They have to let go of war before the galactic can come and assist the world with its evolution. Just wanted to make this quick message about Creston and my encounter with the Sasquatch. The highest wisdom for us today is fear. So it is about facing our fear. Fear is an illusion that appears real. So this matrix of fear is an illusion. It's like for some reason, why was this fear created? Let's say it was Jehovah, which was. It was a descension from Yahweh, the Father God, who descended Jehovah and created this fear matrix. But then it's like that's why the witness of Jehovah will not be able to partake in the ascension. Not that they are cultivating fear, but they do not recognize the presence of God or the God within themselves. They only recognize the God in the Bible, and that's all they can see. So they will not necessarily. God will try to save all His children, but and then with time, everybody will reach the higher planes. But so fear we have to let go of fear. Once we let go of fear, we begin to live. We find joy. It is the rejoicer. So that's where the highest wisdom means in addressing whatever makes us afraid is something to be addressed. It has to be addressed in order to relinquish it and to surround your life to God, to your spirit, to your soul. From there you will find the protection no matter what. It is the only thing that there is to do anyway. What we need to understand is art. Is the card of art. It's a card of creativity. It's the card of temperance. It's the card of balance. Is the higher bringing together of the divine masculine and divine feminine, the mental and the emotional. So it is an alchemical process that is going on. what we need to do is oppression. We have to react to the oppression. We cannot let ourselves be oppressed by situation. That it calls for a reaction to aspire for that freedom, not to let to do all those, to always do things to please other people. Let go of all those responsibilities. Try to make yourself well first. Once you fulfill that, if you're always in the service of others but you don't feel well, then you're not doing much good for yourself or for others. So it is best to address yourself first, to free yourself from the oppression. For we have to free ourselves, we have to discover financial freedom, we have to understand, we have to achieve all kinds of different, to address all those, to ask the universe to guide us to this abundance, to ask the universe to free us from karmic relation, to forgive ourselves and others so we can be free. There is all sorts of things that we need to address within ourselves to relinquish this shadow matrix. As we do that, we find narrowness. It means that we have to follow a narrow path in order to find the salvation. It is a narrow door, and sometimes it goes upward, and it's hard to walk, but it's where and then we'll find the little door that will open to the great expanse of heaven, and so and from there we'll find creativity. So we have to use our creativity to center ourselves, to focus in the now, in the moment of now. From when we are in the now, we are free from the past and the future. We are in the now, and we can discover that. And the outcome will be purity. How beautiful is that? It's a window. There is a purification that is going on, that is needed on the planet. We've been slave to this dark matrix for a very long time. Now there's this purity, and it is the higher forces of the universe that are bringing that together. It is not an individual, but for us it's like to discover that purity. The more we are pure, the closer we'll be able to get to the center, to the creator. Well, I hope this message was interesting for you, that it resonated. I'm going to finish with a song about the power of silence. The words are silver, but silence is gold. For it is in the silence. Silence is the greatest prophet. It's where all things can be revealed within the silence. So breathe, make silent your mind as much as possible, and find this peace. And then from there, once you're in when you're in a surrounder, in a peace of mind, in a state of peace and silence in your mind, then many great things can reveal themselves. For we know that already. I'm just reminding. I'm just a messenger to remind, to do this reminding. And the song goes like this. Hello, darkness, my old friend. I've come to talk with you again. Because a vision softly creeping left its seed while I was sleeping. And the vision that was planted in my brain still remains within the sound of silence. In restless dreams I walk alone, narrow streets of cobblestone. 'Neath the halo of a street lamp, I turn my collar to the cold and damp. When my eyes were stabbed by the flash of a neon light that split the night and touched the sound of silence. And in the naked light I saw 10,000 people, maybe more. People talking without speaking, people hearing without listening, people writing songs that voices never share, and no one dare disturb the sound of silence. Fool, said I, you do not know, silence like a cancer grows. Hear my word that I might teach you, take my arms that I might reach you. But my words like silent raindrop fell, and echoed in the wells of silence. And the people bowed and prayed to the neon god they made, and the sign flashed out its warning in the words that it was for me. And the sign said the words of the prophets are written on a subway wall, and tenant halls, and whispered in the sound of silence. Well, thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you for liking, sharing, subscribing, commenting, and I will post them online as soon as I can. For I don't have internet access right now. It's a technical problem, and my phone company is asking me, says it's okay, you can put video online if you pay $10 by video, but it will take you 4 hours to put each video. So I'm going to wait till the beginning of the month to return to my regular contract with them, so I can place them comfortably. I cannot spend 8 hours mobilizing my phone for so long, and but those are just little things. So it's just let us play, let us enjoy, let us be ready, let us open ourselves to this great potential that is before us. Let us aspire to the freedom that is well deserved after such a long work and efforts that we've been put to that in working on ourselves. We do deserve the great freedom that is before us. And thank you very much. I wish you a wonderful day. Namaste.